Today, we're looking at the MOD files from 2009. I've been going through these for the last 2 months, and I want to take you on a journey.
Hi guys, welcome to UAP Network, a brand new channel that I've set up along with Kyle.
So we're going to be looking at some specific time periods in 2009 towards the back end of the year and all the different layers of experiences that people have been having, and we're going to be looking at specific data sets.
I can't wait to see this, Kyle. We've been talking about this for a while and I really can't wait to see what you found.
It's all a little bit insane, Dave. I'm not going to lie. But before we even get to that, there's some other stuff we need to talk about, because I feel like we're starting this channel at a time where things in this space are absolutely insane.
I can't agree more.
Did you see the video with Obama this week?
I did. It was mind-blowing. It was great to see. I love Obama anyway, but seeing him like that, so raw and just really candid about the whole situation, I just love it. I love the guy.
Shall we watch it and then kind of get us thoughts on it?
Aliens real.
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in what is it?
Area 51.
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
So I've just played the clip. I think everybody in this area has probably seen this interview with President Obama recently, where he was posed a question about alien life, and he came out and said, aliens are real, but he's never seen them. Dave, talk to me.
I think the thing that I found interesting was, yeah, they're not in Area 51. What does that mean? Like, where are they then? They're just out there? Is Trump an alien? Like, what about, all the crazy stuff with the rest of them? Like, what does he mean? It was just so mind-blowing for me. And, I'm kind of part joking, but actually, what does he mean?
I think that's what went through my mind as well. I think the shock, and I was texting you at the time, well, that's almost soft disclosure. I don't think you get a bigger name than Barack Obama sat in front of someone saying, yeah, aliens are real.
My wife said, that's got to be AI. And then she saw the whole interview and was like, oh, that's really interesting. I'd love him to share a little bit more about what he really means.
But it's definitely real. There was some extra snippets of the interview that came out after, where he was talking about other subjects of obviously what Donald Trump has said about him recently, and he's obviously responding to that as well. So it's clearly real, but also his follow-up indicates that it was a real statement as well.
Yes.
Do you know what happened after?
I don't think I do, no. I'm not massively all over the social media all the time. I've had quite a week of illness, as we've talked about, Kyle. So on the road to recovery, help me to understand. I'd love to know more.
Okay, so about there's obviously some key podcasts that look at this information, and they were on it straight away. Pavel at Psychoactivo, he made his own video about it, and then there was a follow up very, very shortly after. And he wrote basically Obama, there was someone asked a question, did Obama get the phone call after that he'd shared too much? Because he walked it back. Within 2 days he'd walked back his statement, and the headline of what he actually said on, I think it was Instagram, was he was kind of in the moment. It was a quick fire round of questions, and he was basically playing along, giving his honest thoughts, and then he reverted to the company line, which is, in the size of the universe, it would be very ignorant to think there isn't any other life, and he was kind of going down that line, and I was like, dude,
wow.
Really? Like, we got the point where we got the line from the person that we wanted to hear it from, and then within 2 days it was downplayed. It does make you think, did he get a phone call from someone?
I mean, it's been going on since, 19X. Everybody's scared that everybody's going to be really scared if they know it's real. There's plenty of people that believe this that don't run around panicking. So I don't really buy it, but, that's the government stance, irrelevant of the country. I just find it bizarre. Genuinely bizarre. So yeah, I bet he did get a phone call. You can imagine that phone call. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall.
Down mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
either that, or he's got 2 guys in black suits knocking on his front door.
Yeah, and it's not a Secret Service detail.
Def- no, definitely not. So yeah, I mean that's probably the biggest news I think that's happened in the last few weeks, and I think we are on a
Absolutely.
bit of a downturn really with news in the area.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we had to kind of comment on that.
President Trump accuses Obama of crossing a line with his comments.
He gave classified information. He's not supposed to be doing that. He made a big mistake. I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
Dave, is it worthwhile me actually explaining about what we're trying to do here? Obviously, we're talking a little bit about what's in the US, but the reasons why we came together and decided to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, let's give everybody an update. Let's get them excited about the channel. Let them know how they can join in with the community. I'm so excited to get this up and running, Kyle.
It's seen as a topic in the US. It's not really seen as a UK topic. And that doesn't mean that nothing happens here. And I had the brainchild of looking at the data and understanding what this looks like from a UK perspective, not a US perspective. So I wanted to look at real cases involving real people, what they saw, what they experienced, and more importantly, what was the follow-up that happened from various governmental bodies, and pull at threads and see what we can find out by actually doing some investigations of our own. That was my reason for doing it. I'm not going to say we're not going to talk about things in the wider sphere, but I think as initial start off at 10, I really wanted to look at the UK side because there's not a lot of coverage here, Dave. Not for me anyway.
No, quite right. It does feel very sparse here in the UK. I follow a load of the stuff in America. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's my bedtime routine. I get in bed, I get YouTube open, and I'm watching some of the channels. I won't shout them out yet. We can tag them in the future. And that's kind of how I spend the last part of my evening, my kind of wind down time. I've been following this topic since I was about 15 years old. That's too many years to say out loud. It's been an awfully long time. Um, and it's been one of the constants in my life. So it's something I've always been passionate about. I've always been across the documentaries, and just seeking out as much data as I can get. I find it fascinating. So the opportunity when we were talking about this, Kyle, it just fits really well. It's something I'm really passionate about, but I probably don't tell anybody about. So I think it's great. And the more we can share this, the more we can get people to think about it, the more we can get people on board to go, maybe there is something there, then the better, because we can force that disclosure. And it'd be really great for somebody just to be really honest. Like, there is more to
Yeah.
this. There must be. There must be.
There has to be. The 100% has to be. And I think the key thing to call out here is that we do have a lot of topics we want to cover. And we actually want to go into some of the historical stuff that people probably aren't aware of either.
Yeah.
That if you're just kind of discovering the topic at a key time right now, you can kind of learn about the history of these things within the UK. And so with that, I wonder, do we dig into what I've got up to now and take
Let's
it from
let's
there?
dive in. I can't wait to see him, Kyle. We've been talking about this for weeks, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Kyle, let's walk through this so I can see there's an awful lot of data on the screen in front of me. And like I say, I'm super G'd up and excited to start diving into it. What are we looking at here?
Right. So to kind of take a step back, when I had this idea, I wanted to look at the official reports from the MOD. Now, the reason why I went down that route is there are other websites you can actually find in the UK where it's basic UFO reportings where you pump it onto the website and people can kind of add the comments and stuff like that. The issue with those kind of websites is they're generally popular with the people in the know, the people involved in the topic, the people that's basically looking out for this stuff. And I didn't want to go down that line. What I was looking for was almost people that had no touch points with this subject, who are in a moment witnessing something, how that reporting structure worked, and then the kind of the follow-up that would happen via the MOD. Now, I got these files from the National Archives, and I've initially looked at November of 2009. It was around this time that the MOD decided to close the UFO reporting desk.
I remember this in the news. I do remember it in the news. I remember going to work, reading the Metro, and being like, "Oh, that's strange. Why are they doing that?"
Yeah. And you
Mm.
know what happened?
Go on.
Something really awkward. The moment that they actually decided to cancel it and stop doing it, the reports trebled.
How interesting.
No, November, well, if we looked at the year 2009, for example,
Yeah.
there was something along the lines of 600 separate reportings
Wow.
for 2009. That is 3 times the volume from the previous 3 years.
Wow.
So there's a response. There feels like there's a bit of a response to a decision that was made by the government.
Yeah.
But to understand a little bit more about that desk, you've kind of got to go all the way back to the Cold War.
Yeah.
Because that is the reason why the desk was set up. It was set up in the Cold War so that reports of potential intrusions into our airspace from more aggressive parties from around the world could be reported, investigated, and then actually understood whether it was an actual threat or not.
Okay.
As the years went on, it changed.
Yeah.
It became an admin function. It was there just to actually go through things such as FOIA requests and basically provide the responses to the general public that were seeing things in the sky.
Yeah.
The decision was made then by the government to say, well, we're putting a lot of money and a lot of effort and a lot of people's time into this, and we could potentially put them to use doing other things. And you can kind of understand that decision,
Yeah.
but it's the definition of what the MOD believes a threat is, Dave.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think just following along, for those following along at home, a FOIA request is a Freedom of Information request here in the UK. So you might not get that in America or other parts of the world, but we put that kind of protocol in so you can write to the government with that kind of freedom of information, and they have to give you something that's on file if they deem it safe to do so. So yeah, it's quite interesting because there's another layer of abstraction there as well, Kyle. Yeah.
100%, 100%. I actually started down this journey by putting in a FOIA request, and this
Right.
is what led me to here,
I love that.
which is interesting. So the point about the threat is an interesting one. The MOD will only respond and investigate a situation where there's been a physical attack.
Okay.
If a member of the public was to see something in the sky and it was really weird and it did something really strange, and even if you were petrified and terrified, the government would not actually do a thing at the time. The only things they were looking for was potential threats, and by threats they mean an attack. Now the interesting thing is that these things were coming and going out of the airspace
Sure.
without problem. Now I feel that that's a threat.
Potentially, yeah. You don't know what the purpose is, but yeah, I agree. From a
What are they doing?
government entity, surely that's a threat. There's something uncontrolled coming into the airspace and leaving the airspace with no trace. Of course, the definition of a threat
Crazy.
from a military perspective.
So I'm going to move on to the data now. Data, I've always kind of looked at data from the perspective of it's a fact.
Yep.
When you've got data, you can make decisions. You can look at something and you're analysing it. You can take from that something that will inform decisions later down the line. And I think that's a really important thing to know. And I'm going to name drop here. When I met Gary Nolan, that was one of the things that we spoke about at length,
Yeah.
which is using data to kind of prove the point that something's
Of course.
actually happening. And that's what I wanted to do. So this graph is just about 2009. How many, the total volume, and there's 88 reports currently recorded from the documents that I've looked at. But what I did, Dave, and this is where I really want to start digging into what you think, because I don't know what to think. One of the key data sets I looked at first was the type of UFO or UAP that
Wow.
was in that report. So out of 88 individual reportings, 55% were orange orbs. They weren't even discs. They weren't even black triangles. It was orange balls of light in the sky.
Wow, that's a big percentage, isn't it? Really big percentage.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, the closest is general lights in the sky,
Yeah.
which sits at 16%, and then you've got red lights, which could be interpreted differently depending on the viewer, at another 10%. So it could actually be more than 55%. It's just that person's perception of what that light in the sky was.
I think that's so interesting, especially like with the historical view of what is a UFO or a UAP or flying saucer is the common term, right? That's because it looks like a disc, right? It's a saucer shape. Or, the cigar-shaped objects. There's an awful lot of talk about those, like big cylinder kind of tubes kind of floating through the air. So it's really interesting that actually, of all the sightings, when you look at the larger population, it's an orb, and an orange orb for that. It's really interesting.
Yeah. What is interesting is if you kind of compare it to some of the things that you hear in the US, is they see a lot of green orbs,
Yeah,
definitely red orbs as well. But when you're talking about discs and cigars, the two most popular things, obviously egg is another one that you've
yeah,
heard lots about in the most recent years.
yeah,
There was two sightings in this month of a cigar.
yeah,
That's 2%. There was one sighting of a disc.
yeah,
You've got one that just said UFO, but the detail, and you'll see this in some of the reports, the detail is just so lacking. But
yeah,
look at that. One sighting of a mushroom.
yeah, yeah. Imagine seeing
It's
that though.
insane. Absolutely insane. So I genuinely don't know what to think about that. Is the orbs part of something bigger? Is it just the perception against the night sky? I kind of looked at this graph for a while, and yeah, I didn't know what to think. Because, I don't know. I just looking at that,
Yeah.
I just don't know what to think.
Is it like a
I really don't
scouting
know what to think.
drone? Like, what is it?
Is it?
What is it? Yeah. Well, I'm just reflecting. Like I say, this is my nightly activity, and I think I've seen a real trend in like the metallic spheres. Like the Booger sphere was the thing that was found in, over in America, South America, and I think it's really interesting because the orange orbs, what do they look like when they're higher up? Do they have an ability to, cast off a colour or light and it still be the same metallic thing? There just seems to be a bit of a common theme around like these spheres and like the ball shaped things. Equally, I know there's also like the ball lightning that's really random and kind of happened, but is actually like a scientific phenomenon. And I think, could you have seen that and it be an orange orb versus something else? Like, I don't know which way to lean. Obviously, I'm just curious. Well, interestingly, sometimes near bonfire night, if the dates align, you also get Diwali, the Festival of Lights. For people
Mm.
who are from India and kind of wider in the Asian region, I think that's interesting because equally you get an awful lot of fireworks and stuff. Some that fell in November in the last year, if I remember rightly. So
It
it can
did.
like skew the data even more.
I don't want to lead you
Okay,
because
cool.
I do try to keep a level head on my shoulders when I'm looking at some of this stuff because I think you do have to.
Yeah,
But when you look at the reports of these things, you will be scratching your head because I don't think you could categorize them as fireworks,
okay,
personally. But I've read the files, so
okay.
you're a fresh pair of eyes.
I won't be led. I won't be led. But I am very, very curious.
So this one is just a breakdown of the months, and one of the things I want to caveat here is these are going to grow in time. I do want to do this for the next set of files to grow this year's view, filling in October and then into September and kind of build out from there. It's quite an onerous task. I'm literally building a database, so it takes
Super.
time. This is
Yeah,
the
sure.
first set of results I've got. But then what I did was I tried to chart it over the individual days
Wow.
to see where there were spikes and around where. And this is where you can start to go, well, Kyle, it was bonfire night,
Yeah,
bonfire weekend.
yeah,
You can see there, look,
yeah,
5th to the 7th, two big spikes.
yeah.
Also, Halloween randomly had the most
That's interesting, isn't it?
by quite a significant jump too.
You do.
Um,
I mean, it's close. It is close to the 5th, and fireworks are on sale here in the UK at that time of year, right? Really, from the beginning of October.
uh,
But it is quite interesting because a lot of people aren't doing the fireworks then. They are out, celebrating Halloween, trick or treating with the kids, or, hiding actually from the kids who were trick or treating. You can choose
yeah,
your side. Yeah, it's really interesting to see those massive spikes and laying it out like this. It's like, oh, that is really interesting. And mainly
yeah,
these will be dark hours as well, so it's a limited amount of time because
yep,
it's when it's dark. Um, that's quite interesting. And I see there's also that spike there on the 28th of October. So,
hmm
seemingly random, but a spike up to like, what is it, 7 maybe. That's really
yeah.
interesting. I'd be interested to see
It's
what that is and where in the country that is as well.
So yeah, I mean, from here you can start to then go pick it out. And the long term view of this is if you build out this view for a year and you get the entire track of data for 12 months
Yeah,
for that year, knowing that it's the busiest year for this in the records before they shut it down, you can then see you can see trends over the year. But then what about if you do something in 2008?
yeah,
If the not do you tend to see similar patterns over the year at key significant points of the year?
yeah,
What does that mean? Like, for example, there's the meteor stream that always hits us around June. I always
yeah,
forget the other time period as well that we pass through.
yeah,
Does that have any links to it as well? There's lots of different questions you can start to go. Well, what's kind of really happening that's not real?
yeah,
And what could some of the explanations be? And this is not to debunk, because I am very clearly a believer. I just want to get to the root of what are the really interesting ones,
yeah,
because the files tell you nothing. I then did the same exercise, looking at the trends per day, but then I broke it down via UFO type, so you can see then, well, are we seeing certain ones at certain points? What is really interesting is the whole orange orb seems to be spread through them all.
yeah, yeah, like a constant.
You got a few white lights. Yeah, it is a constant. I had an assumption, and when I went to the Sol event in October, I think it
Yep,
was, everybody's currently talking about the links between these things and nuclear sites.
yep,
And I almost kind of wanted to prove the point that where there are bases,
yeah,
is there an increased activity around those bases?
yep,
Easiest way to do that is plot it on a map
sure.
and then go through each one of these and plot what has been seen where. Um, I'll kind of go over it slowly and you can stop me. So, worth mentioning, if there's a red pin, Dave,
Yeah,
that's one of the historical major events.
okay. Well, do you know where the nuclear sites are here in the UK?
No, because that's protected information.
Well, being an ex-military man, I know that we've got one up in Scotland.
Hello.
So there's a place called Faslane Naval Base, which was, and I think it still is, a nuclear facility. Because I remember doing
Right.
some training up there when I was back in the military. Because I was kind of blown away because it's the only place I've ever seen a roundabout that the roundabout turns. And basically it turned because the nuclear missiles were so big they couldn't go round the roundabout. They had to go through the middle.
I have actually got a contact that has written a piece for the Liberation Times. Anybody that doesn't know the Liberation Times, it's one of the forefront leaders in talking about this subject online,
Okay.
credible journalists. And I met the person at Sol, and they've been doing a piece about the links between nuclear
Yeah.
facilities and sightings of this kind.
Yes.
They have actually pushed me for information to
Okay.
understand whether this data is correlating with that as well. So
Interesting.
they've got a bit of a vested interest in
Yeah.
this too.
Okay, well, they'll be able to watch this with interest. I think it is quite interesting. I think I watched a documentary on this recently, and it was a couple of people that worked at nuclear facilities where they were talking about direct encounters where their systems went down and malfunctioned, and they went outside and there was UFOs in the air. Like I watched it recently. It might have been a third phase moon documentary. It might have been somewhere else down the rabbit hole. It was something like that recently. I'll try and find the link and we can drop it below in the description just to share that with everybody else. But that was fascinating. But yeah, there's maybe something there that we can dig into in the future.
Worth mentioning the godfather of this subject, Mr. Jesse Michaels.
Yes.
He has so much detail on this, it's ridiculous.
Yes.
That man's a god. You can see here, I've kind of tried to identify them. Forgive the fireworks. I don't mean a firework, I just mean lights in the sky.
Yeah.
But obviously orange means orange light, red means red light, white means white light. And then you start getting to where we are, Dave.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah, quite a lot in Yorkshire. There's a lot of countryside as well, though.
Yeah, there is a lot going on there.
Yeah, an awful lot. Quite dense population as well. However, quite low over Manchester, which is interesting.
Yeah, yeah. it's weird that it's over Leeds. Like a lot over Leeds. I mean, you've got the Ilkley Moor incident. Do you know much about the Ilkley Moor incident?
I've read about it a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, you've got that quite close by, and I didn't
Yeah,
realise how close that was to RAF Menwith Hill too.
yeah,
And then you've got the Todd Morden event of 1980, and I recently watched a documentary on that via the tape libraries, and that was
right.
ridiculously good. And that is a freaky, freaky case.
Yeah,
But then just these spots of orange. It's just, yeah, again, it's like you look at the data and you're looking for patterns, but there might be patterns in the madness of it,
yeah.
but it doesn't look like there is at the minute.
No,
And then you've got obviously this is where the RAF bases were that I could find details on.
yeah,
Nothing,
no.
nothing.
It's interesting. I think we've got a few more RAF bases. There's definitely some up in North Yorkshire, in and around Catterick area,
Mm.
because there's quite large military installations there. But even as you were scanning the map, I was looking for military bases that I know, that
Okay.
aren't populated on here, and going, yeah, but there's nothing there.
Yeah, I kind of want to get more on this. I think because it will start to tell a picture
Yeah,
of like are there hotspots in and around the area that you could potentially go to. But yeah, this is the start of a 10-day. This is what I've done with it, this is how I've collated
I
it,
love
and
it.
this is how I'm trying to represent it. I have already done some work on the 7th.
Let's do that then.
um
Let's do that. If you
we
dug
can
into the seventh, let's dive in there. Let's not go for the fifth. I'm kind of saying that because
yeah,
in the UK, so for anybody that doesn't know, we celebrate something called Bonfire Night in the UK. So Guy Fawkes Night, which relates back to a kind of old coup where somebody was trying to blow up Parliament, and we celebrate this thing. It's probably a bit macabre, really, to celebrate trying to blow up your kind of government system, but we do all the same, and that happens on the 5th of November every year. So if we avoid that day, because you're quite right, plenty of fireworks could be
yeah,
misconstrued, but the 7th is pretty much stopped by then.
let's do it.
Nice.
Cool, here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the spreadsheet, and I'm going to explain all the different types of data that I've collected. And then from there, what we're going to do is we're going to actually show you the files themselves and walk you through what the reports were. And then you can make your own mind up what you think, and we can make our own minds up to what we think.
And to go along with that, we're going to work with our AI overlords to give us a bit of a visual graphic representation of the interpretation of the reports that Kyle's going to walk us through. Just give us something to look at and maybe just help us to visualize it. I'm quite visual. You guys might be too, so it'll just give us a bit of a flavour.
Okay, so to walk you through the spreadsheet, I've captured key specific pieces of data. So we've got the year of the sighting, we've got the month of the sighting, the full day, time of the sighting, so we can start to think about, is it light, is it dark? It's November in England, so there's never any sun, so it's always dark. The location of where it's happened as well. The reporting type, there seems to be two mechanisms, email and phone call.
Yeah.
And you will see how the differences in detail depending on the report that's used. The volume of witnesses, the UFO type, the volume of UAPs. Where is the witness when they saw it, and how did they view it? The weather conditions, the direction of travel of the UAP. What was the tone of the witness? Any high strangeness that goes along with it, the response from the MOD, the lag time of the response, so the time between the report being made and the MOD sending a response.
Okay.
Was there any follow-up from the MOD, the description of the report, and then the location within the MOD files themselves. Okay?
Yep. That's a lot of detail,
and then
right?
moving on from
Wow.
a hell of a lot of detail. And then linking to that, we have the 7 observables from Mr. Lou Elizondo. And for anybody that doesn't understand what the 7 observables are, because I think you have to really down the rabbit hole to understand what they are, it's a mechanism that the US government introduced to look at reports, to make a determination on whether it is really anomalous or can it be explained away by normal means. Okay, so first file, Dave, we're heading to Hemel Hempstead.
Okay, nice part of the country.
We're specifically looking at the 7th. The report for the 7th, came in on the 10th. And what this person did was quite, as you can see here, a lot of detail. And to go through it, they had posted a sighting report, but decided to make a sighting report after seeing that these red things were seen by many people over a large area. My first sighting was in Tring at these approximate Google Map coordinates. So the first thing that's coming to me here, Dave, is this person's taking this significantly serious, the fact that they've got the actual coordinates that this happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've got to be kind of really motivated.
I think what's standing out to me already is this isn't one person. This is a group of people at somebody's house in a family back garden. Straight away,
Mm-hmm.
just adds a level of credibility. This is a group of people that have seen something, and they've not talked each other out of it. That's always fascinating.
It's an interesting take, that, because I didn't consider that. And you are right. Like, if you're in a group of people, the natural thing to do is you say you've seen something and another person tries to rationalise it.
Exactly. That's just standard human behaviour, especially in scenarios like this. And I think that stands out to me in this scenario. This isn't just one person, it's a group. Okay.
This is why I like doing this with you, Dave, because you have a different view from me and you come at it different to me.
Sure.
Because that has it's reinforced for me when I've been in situations where I've seen it and you have that conversation and somebody goes, no, don't worry about it, it's a firework. So they're in the back of the garden. There's a large fielded area. This person's talking to their daughter and they notice a red, amber, bright light and it flew over the top of them.
Wow.
They thought it was weird, but they kept thinking it was a Chinese lantern. The apparent speed, though, was 20 miles an hour. I've never seen a Chinese lantern go 20 miles an hour.
No. Not unless it's significantly windy, but if you're in a garden, you'd probably know it was significantly windy. So, yeah. That's interesting.
And I mean, it says next. I mean, the next point they've raised, which is this wind speed seemed non-existent at ground level.
Exactly.
8 to 12 stories high, and it was travelling in a north-northwest direction at about 8 p.m.
Silent as well.
A little while later, this person, they're driving home, they're on the M1. M1 is the main motorway in the UK, and it's boring. And if anything's kind of sticking out, you're going to see it. I've actually been driving on that all day today, Dave.
Yeah, it's my closest motorway. In the US, this is a highway, right? But in the UK, we call these a motorway.
So this person's going through Hemel Hempstead, and again, this person sees something, stops, and gets the Google coordinates. And at this point, they observe another 2 of them flying together, not slowly, but not fast. They were red, they were quite bright, but they were not really glowing. Now, I want to talk about that in a sec, but what's your thoughts there? So they've seen them, they go somewhere else, there's another 2, and it's like they're following them around. Why would they see that? It's really weird.
Do you think it's the effect of being on like heightened awareness? Like you've already observed something, you're feeling a little bit like, well, that was a bit strange, and you're almost looking. And I think the more you look up, the more you see. Like, I've got experiences, we're going to cover those in future videos, I can't wait to share those with you, but, you know, I always make a point of looking up whenever I'm outside.
When people are spotting these things, they talk about the lighting of them. The lighting is really strange.
Yeah.
It's not like a normal light where it emits light, it's kind of like an ambient light.
Yeah.
It doesn't kind of cast over anything, it's kind of a light,
Yeah.
but it doesn't impact the wider environment. Okay, so that's the first case. And what I did with this, Dave, is would look through this and then kind of look at the MOD to see, well, how did they respond?
Yeah.
And you always have to go up. When you're looking at these files, because of the order in which they've been scanned in, you get the report from the person, then you kind of go to the previous page, which is their response.
Okay.
What you tend to find with these reports is, and I called this, Dave, the kind of standard report.
Okay.
And the reason why is every letter is exactly the same. It says the same thing. The only variables is the day that it was spotted, and the location and the time.
Yeah.
Everything from the second paragraph down is exactly the same. It's always the same detail. And what it comes back to is that thing we were saying before. The MOD will not see this as a threat unless it attacks. Doesn't matter what it's doing, doesn't matter where it's flying. If it's not attacking, it's not a threat, we don't care.
Yeah.
Here's your letter. Go away. Go away.
It's really interesting.
It's weird. And wait until you start to see the gap, right? So if we go back to the report, they saw it on the 7th, they sent this on the 10th, they got the response on the response on the 13th.
Yeah.
So 3 days after. And there was no follow-up.
Okay.
Okay. Shall we move on to the next one?
Yeah. Let's do it.
I think you're going to like this one. So the first thing to notice out of this, Dave, is this one was really different because it wasn't an email, it wasn't a phone call. They actually wrote a letter in.
Okay. Wow.
So I think about this as a person. What has your mindset got to be to go to the effort of finding out where to report something, physically sitting down, writing a letter, going to the post office to post the letter? Think about the headspace of being that. What kind of situation must you have viewed? This is not a firework.
I think, interestingly, that costs money, right? So somebody's paying out of
Yep.
their pocket for a postage stamp to post it, the letter, the envelope, the time it's taken to do that as well. That's fascinating. Fascinating. They must have really seen it. They must have been really conscious to get that shared with the people that they think are going to do something and take action. And that's the other side of this, right? We're telling these people the Ministry of Defence, if you're not familiar, is the UK military, if you like. It's the government agency that looks after the Navy, the Air Force, the Army, all of the special operations. The Ministry of Defence here in the UK, they're the people. They're the people you want on your side if you need some help. So it's fascinating to have taken that time out to do that handwriting as well.
I am. It's these moments for me where I sit and look and think, this person saw something that they can't explain.
Yeah.
If they would go, that again, think of the time. We naturally, when you see something that would be determined as a little bit strange, you go away, you sit down, and you rationalise it yourself.
Yes.
I've done it. You've done it, Dave, I'm
Yes.
sure. You sit down, you go, I thought I saw that, but maybe it was this.
Yeah.
How far has it got to be past that for you to sit down and go, I'm going to write a letter?
Yes.
I find it absolutely insane. The only thing that's going to be more insane is as we read this and you find out what happened.
Okay.
So, let me walk you through it. This morning on Saturday the 7th of November 2009, between the hours of 8:45 and 9 a.m. So big key difference here. This is in the middle of the day. Even in the UK at that time, there is some sun shining.
Yeah.
This person, they're on their way to work in Victoria. So Victoria, for anybody that doesn't know and has not been to the UK, Victoria in London is quite a built-up area. It's in the middle of the city centre. Lots of people milling around. Large buildings. It would be the same as going to any other huge cityscape where you've got lots of footfall traffic. The person saw about a dozen people looking up at the sky on Bridge Street, Victoria,
Wow.
in front of the Hesperia Hotel and the Passport Office. So again, the Passport Office is going to have a lot of traffic. There's going to be a lot of people coming in and coming out. The witness walked over and asked one of the people what they were looking at, which was something up in the sky on a bright blue, clear morning day. The witness then looks up, and to their amazement and awe, they saw several bright lights flying and drifting quickly and silently up in the sky. They were bright, and again, it's re-emphasized, they were bright, flickering. I can't make out that other word, but it's, tiny white, tiny light green, and tiny light red lights. So
Wow.
not just one colour, you've got 3 different colours. And it's almost like, it sounds to me like it's like a dance that they're doing.
Yeah.
The person points out that it's similar to how you would see stars, and they seem to make a formation in the middle of the day.
Wow. Wow.
While seeing these for 5 to 10 minutes, I must have counted at least 10 to 15 of these strange little lights drifting silently up into the sky. Some of them seem to be drifting in groups and others separately. It goes on. They were definitely not balloons or an aircraft or a helicopter. Some of my other colleagues saw them and will sign this letter for proof of witnesses.
Wow.
So this They are
Wow.
willing to put their names down to this.
Yeah,
This is
wow.
not birds or balloons.
Again,
Imagine that, Dave.
I mean, like
The
I said
ridicule,
before, the
right?
family, right? This is multiple people seeing something that they can't explain. It's silent. It's clearly there, but there's no explanation. They know what an aeroplane looks like or a helicopter. They know what birds look like, and it's none of those things. It's really interesting.
I wonder what the MOD said.
I wonder what the MOD said.
We'll finish off and we'll find out. I would be so grateful if you could investigate this to find out what they were. Maybe get in touch with the Civil Aviation Authority to see if any pilots at the time saw these UFOs or any other organisation, such as the military, might know of something. Sadly, I did not have my camera, so I can't provide any photographic evidence, but I have explained full details as to what I saw. Many thanks, and I look forward to hearing from you. The other thing I want to ask you about here, Dave, is the tone of the person. Does this come across as someone that's not interested? Does it come across as somebody who thinks that this is mundane?
No.
To me, it sounds as though they're invested in whatever this is.
Yes. It sounds like maybe they're professional. Maybe they're, of a level of caliber. Like, this isn't like, this feels like a professional person that's taken time out of the day. Not because they're scared, but because they feel that they have a kind of duty of responsibility for the British government to let them know about this thing that happened here in the UK. Great. What a stand-up citizen. And I can get some colleagues to sign it along with me. It wasn't just me. It just adds the level of credibility. I love it. Love it.
On the 7th,
Yeah.
the letter was sent on the 7th, so it was the day it happened.
Yes. Couple of days in the post.
On the 10th.
On the 10th.
Couple of days in the post. So think about that. First class post.
Yep.
1 to 2 days.
Yep.
The report hits the MOD. You can pretty much say the moment that it hits the MOD, they instantly send this report back out.
Yes. Not even reading
Go
it,
away.
are they? Yeah, here's one. There's your
even reading it.
response. Interesting.
Because it didn't attack. You have 12 unknown lights of unknown origin, of unknown aircraft, of unknown pilots, flying around in the centre of London in formation. It's not a threat, is it?
It's really interesting. It's
Wow.
so interesting.
Should we go on a journey to somewhere else?
Let's do it.
So we're heading to Scotland for this third one. This person assumed that the lights were from a plane, but it stopped suddenly. So this UFO is coming in at a standard pace, going east to west.
Okay. Fair to
And then it
assume.
stops.
You would assume a plane. It's just a plane. It's just a plane. Just seeing the light moving in the sky. We see it all the time.
Dave, I might be a bit of a novice when it comes to fireworks. Do fireworks stop in the middle of the sky?
I mean, maybe very specialist ones that we don't know about. That but I've never seen one.
Now, the only thing that would potentially stop in the middle of the sky is a helicopter.
Yes.
I can't think of anything else in the sky that would stop mid-flight.
Maybe a Harrier jump jet, but I'm not sure they're a thing anymore.
They're loud.
They are loud, and
I
helicopters
think
are
they've been
really
retired.
loud too.
They are. You're going to notice the noise, so you're going to know it's a helicopter, and you're probably going to know it's a fighter jet.
Even if it's
Okay.
way off, you can hear it. You can hear it. You can hear a standard
Okay.
aeroplane flying at its, highest altitude. You can see it. Those nice summer days that we all have outside, you can hear it, even if it's only in the background.
So, for anybody that's watching, and for Dave as well, I want you to have a think about those kind of things that we're talking about. Helicopters, planes, fireworks, balloons, all that kind of stuff. The light comes across in the sky. It stops. It tilts.
Wow.
And as it tilts, it shows its belly, from what it sounds like,
Yeah.
to reveal 20 individual orange lights.
Wow.
It stays static for 15 seconds before it tilts back to its original position and carries on moving.
Wow.
Weird.
It is weird.
I don't know what can do that.
I don't. And I'm not going to talk about it today, but I've had an experience very similar to this. We're going to talk about it in a few episodes' time, so I won't give the game away, but I can picture that because I've seen something very similar. But
Since yeah,
wow, wow. Imagine seeing that. Imagine.
this witness got a hold of the wife, and by the time she got there, the light had already moved off. It had
Okay,
gone.
wow.
The wife says it's just a plane, but this guy didn't think it was a plane. Now, there's a little bit of honesty that comes out in this report now, mate, because he kind of says, I did have 3 or 4 cans of beer, but I wasn't drunk. Now, that, again, to me, is someone being really honest. I've had something to drink. I'm absolutely positive it's not a plane. It stuck with them. They've wrote an email 2 days after it happened.
Yeah, it was on their
There's
mind.
some credence there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe them. I believe they saw that thing. Like, look, a couple of cans of beer is a couple of cans of beer. What's that between friends? I'm not a particularly big drinker, Kyle. I know you're not either. But I do know from times when I was younger where I might have had a few drinks, 3 or 4 cans of beer. I would have been more than kind of coherent. I wouldn't have been drunk. I certainly wouldn't have been driving, but I would have been able to talk, able to see things, you know. And no fuzzy memory or anything like that. It's a couple of drinks, right? As
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bit older and I drink less, you know, I'm less in that state. If I have a little glass now, I can feel it, and you know, I feel a bit incoherent. So maybe don't trust me if I've done that. But you know, reading that is very clear. It's super detailed about what they've experienced. You know, for me, I've seen something similar, so I believe them more anyway. Like, you know, but that's my own
Yeah.
bias. But it's fascinating. Just imagine being there. And the silence. It's the silence that always strikes me. You can just tell. It's silent. It's eerily silent when it happens, in my experience.
You can see that there's some innate battle that they're having to go, I really need to report this, but at the same time, I don't want to be seen as silly
Of course.
because this doesn't sound silly, right? It really doesn't
It
sound
doesn't
silly.
sound silly. I feel sorry
I
for this
felt sorry
person.
for this person.
Yeah.
That is exactly how I felt reading it.
Yeah.
So this was seen on the 7th. They sent the email on the 9th. On the 10th, so a day
A
later.
day later. Did they even read it?
And it's exactly the same again. It's the exact same letter.
My favourite part about these letters is the last paragraph. The MOD does not have
Hmm.
any expertise or role in respect of UFO flying saucer matters or the question of the existence or otherwise of extraterrestrial life forms. In any of these reports, nobody has mentioned a flying saucer,
Nope,
extraterrestrial life, or anything else.
nope,
Um,
nope.
I mean, it is good that it remains totally open-minded. So that's good. I think we all need to be a bit
Yeah,
open-minded because none of us can explain it.
we do. But your point is absolutely bang on. And again, this links back to why I wanted to do it with these reports. I didn't want people polluted by the subject. I wanted people to come to this kind of from the perspective of they don't know what is going on, they don't have any thoughts or feelings. I'm even more so because there are reports in here where people are like, I've never believed in this kind of thing, but I've seen this and I now don't know what to think.
Sure.
People have wrote that stuff,
Yeah.
so we'll see more of that as we go on, I think. But I just get frustrated that people are taking the time and a day later it's just send them the
Yeah.
letter,
Just
send
standard.
them the letter. Okay, Dave, we're moving again. We're moving away from Scotland. We're now off and we're in the beautiful town of Peterborough.
Okay.
Okay, I really, really want people to pay attention towards the back end of this report for reasons that if anybody's looking at the screen, you may have already spotted. Good day. I wish to report a most unusual sighting on Saturday evening, November the 7th, 2009. From our garden on the northeastern side of Peterborough, we saw an orange sphere proceeding on a straight course towards the north at 21:59 hours until 22:01 hours. Right, couple of things I want to pick up and ask you about here, Dev. How precise is that, number one?
Very precise. Man after my own heart. Assuming it's a man.
but that is really precise. This
Very
person's
precise.
walked outside, looked up, seen something, can't correlate it, instantly looked at his watch to mark the time,
Yes.
and then mark the time as it's ended as well.
Yes.
Similar things being seen at similar hours, clear day. I find it incredible. And the thing that this guy is able to spot is the speed too.
Yeah.
So the next paragraph is the elevation was approximately 30 degrees above the eastern horizon, and the speed was substantial, in excess of 300 miles per hour. And to your previous point, Dave, there was no noise. It was
It's
silent.
always the noise.
Weird.
Yeah.
Really weird. And no normal navigation lights.
Yes.
And to the light point before, just an eerie orange glow.
Exactly. And even if an aeroplane's in the sky, it's pitch black, it's super clear, and they've got, where I live, I'm quite close to Manchester Airport, so I see planes coming in. I'm actually a long way away, but they travel such a long distance to come in and land. They have like the big like spotlights on as they're coming in for landing, and you see those in the sky. But equally, alongside that, it doesn't really matter how far away you see the little blinking green and red lights. Like the green and red lights are the standard navigation lights. There is some other coloured lights, but these things that these people are describing, there's no lights that are just an eerie orange glow on any of the UK or, military aircraft that we have here in the UK or wider in the world that I'm aware of. And I'm kind of, familiar with an awful lot of kind of military technology and stuff just from my history and kind of background. And it's stuff that I'm aware of and, look at often. So yeah, it's bizarre. They are, it's a must have. Even drones have them, right?
There's going to be some people probably watching this saying, well, you're talking about all these things in the sky, right? But one of the things you're not talking about is satellites. Yeah,
Sure.
that's absolutely true. We're not.
No.
But did you know, Dave? Did you know that satellites don't have lives?
Well, it is interesting you say that. Because I think if you're in Cornwall, you can see on a clear night, you can see the International Space Station go overhead and it's lit up.
Hmm.
I don't know what it's lit up by, but you can see it and it goes past quite quick because I saw it and I thought it was a UFO. And I was with some people from Cornwall and they went, no, no, that's the ISS. It happens, within whatever
What did it
frequency,
look like?
just like a light.
Was it a white light?
It kind of orangey light, just traversing the sky. It,
Okay,
it was maybe similar to some of these reports, actually. Interesting.
maybe,
I've never thought of
maybe.
that.
Never thought of that. I mean, again, you've got to think about because I think a lot of these satellites and they always travel in the same direction,
Yes. Yeah. So it's
and that's
easier
the
to
other
rule
thing to
out.
think
Yeah,
about.
definitely.
Yeah, they're going to be traveling in one direction. If you do see something sparkle and you think it might be a satellite, what they always say is it's not a light, it's probably the reflection of the sun, depending on the angle.
Yes.
Back to the report, though. Although extremely difficult to judge, the height was probably above 1,000 feet and maybe a lot higher. A neighbour saw a similar sight on the same evening at 9:30, but in a western sky at an elevation of 50 degrees.
Okay, wow.
So it's been around the area.
Yeah.
Some friends in Hunstanton, 35 miles to the east, saw a similar object at 5:30, proceeding on a northerly course. So while this is one report, it's actually
Three
three.
reports in one, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Now here's the
interestingly,
kicker.
because you're seeing the one that's a neighbour seeing something around 9:30, this person saw something around 10 p.m. and somebody else saw something around 5:30 p.m. Is there just something? Yeah, you're quite right. Something in the area. Wow. Okay.
You're not going to get a satellite,
Of
and you're
course you're
not going to get
not.
the
Of
International
course
Space
not.
Station hanging
No.
around. This is kind of come and gone, come and gone, come and gone.
That's interesting.
Now I just got to why? What's in the area?
Yeah.
Now here is the kicker. As a former commander in the Royal Navy and a keen astronomer, I should be very interested to hear your views as to what this object might have been. It was not a Chinese lantern, nor a satellite, nor a helicopter, nor a light aircraft. I look forward to hearing from you.
Wow.
So, as a former commander in the Royal Navy, this person is going to know what planes look like, what helicopters look like, Jesus, even what gunfire in the sky looks like. This person is going to see it. They have walked out, seen something really strange, bang. 9:59. Watched it, 10:01. That wasn't anything that I'm used to.
Yes.
This person has a lot of credence.
Yeah. And not any more than the others, but a different perspective. And the reason why I say this,
Yes.
there's something that's not written here. As a former commander in the Royal Navy, this person is a trained observer. And that's really interesting. You can go to court in the UK having been observed by a trained observer for committing a crime. This person is trained as a trained observer and able to command hundreds, if not thousands, of Royal Navy personnel into battle. That is somebody with credence, exactly as you say, Kyle, but the level of training, the level of observational skills, the level of attention to detail to be able to articulate everything that they've articulated is on a different level to you or me as a standard civilian. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Someone with, I would say, a lot of rationale, used to dealing with high pressure situations, used to, I would say, problem solving and understanding things that's happening around them, has seen this, and 2 days later sat down and wrote an email after going and investigating it with other people that surround them as well.
Yes.
Shall we have a look at what the MOD said?
I can't wait. I hope it was a very detailed reply, giving him the respect that he was due.
That's fine. This person also called in on the night.
Okay.
7th of November at 10 p.m. So around the time it's happening, and they left 2 separate messages asking to be contacted.
Great.
On the 9th, a letter was written back. The same day. The same day.
Just nothing. Again. Yet again. Just nothing. Thank you, but no thank you. We are not interested. Even from that poor man, assuming it's a man, could have been a lady in the Royal Navy, from that poor individual who spent their time to notify, actually probably seeking more just interaction. Do you know what? I've seen this. You guys probably saw this. Can we talk about this? I'm in the club. Let's have a little chat. Type thing. And it just, no, off you go. Like, it's sad, isn't it, really? Like, I just think it's sad.
I felt sad for this person.
Yeah.
I felt sad for this person. When you look at this is just the reports, and I often think about some people that I met last year that have had real experiences with this stuff.
Yeah.
That are clearly frightened.
Yeah.
And if they can't get someone to sit down and take them seriously, they have nowhere to go, and these are the people that are in charge of looking after us.
Yeah.
And this is just like the tip of the iceberg with it, that you get someone 3 or 4 times trying to get in touch with somebody to look for support because they're seeing something that shouldn't be there.
Sure.
And instantly get fobbed off.
Yeah. I think this is probably a great place to end today's video. I think it's been great digging into these. Kyle, thank you so much for all the time and effort that you put into this research. Obviously, it's really set us up on a great foot. In the background, we've set up some contact details for you to be able to get in touch with the channel. So you can contact us via email. We've dropped that in the channel description. We'll drop it also in the description for the video below. And we massively encourage anybody and everybody to reach out. If you've experienced something like this, if you want to share your story, drop us an email over there. It's contact@uapnetwork@gmail.com. Do drop us a note. We'll read it out. Like, it'd be great for us to debate it, have a little bit of a talk about it, as well as us sharing our experiences and also looking into some kind of more historical stuff that's happened here in the UK and also in the wider industry.
But I just want to say thank you as well, like, for me talking at you and walking through all of this detail. I am going to commit to doing some more for 2009 and really trying to find out what the rest of that year looks like, as well as digging into all the other stuff too. But no, thank you for watching.
We're also going to deep dive into some historical cases that have happened here in the UK. So I find particularly interesting the Silver Moor incident, which took place over in East Yorkshire, kind of West Yorkshire area. area near Scarborough, which was a great hoax here in the UK, but it was kind of UK's Roswell. I'm fascinated by that, so we're going to deep dive into that. Kyle's getting excited about going over to Roswell later in the year, so hopefully we'll get some exclusive on-site footage of Kyle in Roswell, and we'll be able to post that back on the channel. But I think that's probably it for this week, Kyle, right? Is there anything else we
It
want to
is,
say?
yeah. Just thank you, and hopefully you'll come back and please get in touch with us. I'm really looking forward to what we can do with this.
Great. Make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you drop a comment, because the engagement really helps the channel. And most importantly, please make sure you subscribe to UAP Network. Let's grow this community together. We're not all wearing tinfoil hats, but we are genuinely curious. Please come back again next week.